Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how I got kicked out of school and they sent me to the crazy home. And it all started in high school. Got to ninth grade. I was shy because never been around that many people before. I never had to ride the bus. Like, it was all new to me. And all I did was the right thing in the beginning. I started going to school, back home, going to school, back home. Everything I was supposed to do. Then me and my friend and her friend was chilling one day. And she let us talk to somebody on the phone that she was talking to while she walked around and did whatever she was doing. Talked to him on the phone. He was cool. And then somehow after that, I started talking to him. And that was that. January started rolling around. Figured it was time for a change. I started getting like bored with just going to school and back home. So I started drinking, smoking, skipping school and all of that, playing basketball, and yeah, getting into some stuff. So then one day I was playing basketball. I used to drink before the games and everything, like drink, smoke, whatever. One day we was about to have a game, and I went across the school was over. I went across the street until the game started before we had to go back and practice. And went over there, drinking Four Locos and smoking and everything. Didn't end so well. Went back to school to practice before my game. Got all dressed up and everything. Running up and down the court, practicing. Somebody passed me the ball. I jump up to make the shot. Fell to the floor dead. 12 minutes I was out. The coach gave me CPR for 12 minutes until the ambulance came. Ambulance came, put me on a stretcher, shocked me back to life, and flew me out to another city. And I had to get surgery. So that went by and got better. Went back to school. It probably was like a month or two left. Went back to school. Everything was all right. And then 10th grade come along. And everything was going good. I heard that girl was trying to get back with her man, but that wasn't happening. He shared a locker with me. And for some reason, she shared a locker like a couple down from us with somebody else. So, second semester rolling around. There's something about that second semester that never, I don't know, just wasn't right. So, one day I go to my locker and she's standing over there. And I'm like, why you keep on coming over here? Like, in my head, I'm thinking like, go to your own locker. I don't even vibe with you like that no more. Stop coming over here. Ain't nothing over here for you. So, she was like, you don't tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want to do. Fine. Okay, girl. So, she continued to keep coming over there to where I was, to where my locker was, and where her locker was, instead of going back to her own. So one day, me and my best friend walking down the hallway, and she's standing over there at her locker, well, at the locker she was sharing. And my man was over there at my locker getting his stuff out. And they talking. And my friend said, you just gonna let them stand there and talk to each other? I ain't hearing no mind. So then she said it again, like, you not gonna say nothing? I'm like, I will hit that girl. She was like, no, you won't. She laughing, like, ain't nothing funny. Like, okay. So we walking and walking over there, because I'm going, that's the way I'm headed anyway. I'm going to my locker. And I get over there, I had already warned the girl one time, like, stop coming over here, you don't belong. So I walk straight up and I just hit her in her head. Boom. Hit her. She starts swinging, going crazy, screaming. I'm just calm. I just stopped hitting the girl. They pulled her back, and yeah, they holding her. She just going crazy, and I'm just standing there just like this, like whatever. And then the principals and everybody they heard some noise, so here they come around the corner, trying to see what's going on. All they see is her going crazy and me standing there. So they told both of us to come to the office. So we go to the office and got her on one side, me on the other side, called our parents, told us that we couldn't come back to school anymore. They found us and they got an alternative school we can go to the end of the school year. So they sent us to 2 different schools, and then, yeah, went there, and it probably was about 10 people, and maybe less than that, 8 or 10 people in the little private bad school or whatever. And I was there. They just gave us a packet to do for the whole month, and that's all we really had to do. We'd be there for a couple hours. She'd give us a packet to do, and I would go home and do my whole packet that first day, so I wouldn't have nothing to do for the rest of the month. And one day, she asked me, she was like, "Why you never doing no work?" I'm like, "Cause I'm finished." She was like, "You did that whole packet?" Like, "Yeah, what you think? I'm just gonna like be doing work every single day?" Like, "No, get this out the way. I ain't got nothing else to do." She was like, "Well, you shouldn't be doing it all at once, because now I'm gonna have to give you something else to do, because you can't just be not doing nothing. Like, that don't make sense. Like, I'm finished." So she was like, "Well, just make like you doing something then, because you can't just sit here and do nothing." All right. So me and this boy beside me, we had became cool because I started, we was in the same class or whatever. So, well, it was no class. It was just a school. We was in the same school at the same time. Started being cool with him. And he was like, "You really do all your packets? Can I just use it and borrow it and copy yours?" Sure. So I would give him my packet. And then the teacher, she was one, then it was both of us, we'd be in class just talking, and she wondering why his packet wasn't done. Asking him questions. She didn't figure out nothing. So then, yeah, other people in the class, everybody except one girl, she didn't never say nothing to me, but I took everybody's packet and I took it home, and I just copied mine. Not word for word, but I copied everybody's packet. Copied mine onto everybody's. And I did that work. And in the morning, when I got to school, I give it back to them before we walked in. So then, all of a sudden, nobody was doing work in the class. And the lady, she got kind of suspicious, because she's like, "Ain't no way this never happened before." So somehow everybody's paper is finished. So then, one morning before school, I it was like the next month or something. She had got there early, so I had everybody's packet. I couldn't pass it to them because she was right there. So I'm like, dang. I just had to do it anyway, because once we go in and sit down, it ain't no moving around. Like, that's it, just a room with her, and that's it. So, passed everybody their packet. Tried to do it on the sneak, but of course not. She seen it, said she needed to talk to me, that I knew that was wrong. Why did I do that? And she know that I could get put out for that, because you're not supposed to do other people's work. Don't let it happen again. So I'm like, okay. A couple months later, I did it again. Put me out. Couldn't go back there anymore. So 11th grade started rolling around, and I couldn't wait to go back to school. By then, some other girl was trying to get with the dude. But no, I think it was get back, because my cousin I used to always pick on when I was little, she hooked him up with her best friend. Like, where they do that at? But no, I won't having it. So, what happened? Second semester come rolling around. About the time everything started happening, everything started happening then. Um, I was sitting in class one day in my science class, and we was learning about thermometers, and he was telling us that we had to wear gloves because if a thermometer break on your skin, it'll kill you. Like, I don't know how, or I just remember that he said that if a thermometer breaks and the stuff get on your skin, something, it'll kill you. So when I got that in my head, I just started thinking like, I need to get this on that girl. Like, I hate this girl. Like, she was really giving me problems. So, cause she wouldn't let, she really kept on talking to him, and I don't know. She didn't care, but so I had some bad thoughts in my head, and I'm just thinking like, how I'm gonna get this on that girl. I'm like, lunch coming up, like I had to figure something out quick. So I'm just like, I need to steal one of these thermometers and some gloves, and somehow when I see her or something, put it in a drink or throw it on her or something. But that's I knew I was crazy in some kind of way. So her lunch had came up. It was before mine, so when the bell rung for them to go to lunch, that they went, and I had called out of class. Like, I asked them could I go like for a hallway break or something because I knew it was their lunchtime. So lunch came. I'm trying to get in there and figure out like how I'm gonna do this when she alone and nobody around. So we get in the lunchroom, and I'm trying to see where she's sitting at, but when she walked in, she had people with her, and I couldn't really get to her the way I wanted. So I'm just watching, and I'm thinking like, if I pour it in her milk when she get up, or do something, I gotta get this shit on her. So, it didn't happen. So, oh, she had a table full of people, and somebody was always around. And then by then, cafeteria was packed, cameras all in the way. So I just went over there and got a carton of milk or whatever, and I walked over there to where she was, and I just poured it all on her head or whatever, and watch her just sit there while her friends cuss me out. Why you doing that? Why you being mean to her? And who cares? Don't nobody care about you, her, or none of y'all. Fuck y'all. So I did that, and then I just left and went back to class. And then, of course, she told. So after that, put me out again, sent me back to alternative school, and had the same teacher. She was like, you back again? Don't mess up this time. Put the other girl out too, sent her to the other one, and there we go. I was back at the school, and me and dude, we was still cool. He just said I was crazy as hell. And prom was coming up at regular school, and I wanted to go with him, so I had to write a letter to the school to see if they would let me go. So wrote a letter, see if I could get permission to go to the prom with him. Got denied. They won't let me back nowhere. So he ended up going with some other girl. Oh well. Anyway, school eventually ended, and 12th grade come. Here I come back again. And I just knew I was crazy as hell because I was just getting worse and worse. Still drinking, smoking, doing all kind of shit. And then I decided I need to slow down. I'm gonna have this boy's baby. So one day, me and him and his friend, after school, we went to Golden Corral and ate, went back to dude's house and was watching TV. And then we went in his room and we was talking. And I'm just like, let's see how easy it is to get pregnant. Like, I don't think it's really that easy. So he was like, well, what if you get pregnant? I'm like, let's just see. So we made some promises. Promise he always be there for us and that I never put him on child support and stuff like that. So we shook on it, laid on the floor, had sex, and then boom, was pregnant the next day. It really was that easy. So then, after that, he dropped out of school. I didn't never really go. And yeah, didn't really go to school too much after that. I just rode all around, smoking and drinking. And I had always had advanced classes, so I always had my credits. Like, I had my credits way early that I needed. Now here comes second semester of 12th grade. I'm knocked up, like, started off just the way all the other times did. Then I had my baby like a month later, and good to go. What happened? Yeah, I had my baby. I was out of school for like a week or two. Went back to school. I mean, he not there anymore, so I mean, I'm just there. You know, sometimes I had to show up. I couldn't like have no attendance. So, sitting in class one day, computer class, and me and this girl I was cool with, we always just talking, having fun or whatever. She went out in the hallway, walking all around. So eventually I decided I want to go out in the hallway too. Like, I'm boring. It's boring sitting right here. So I go out in the hallway, see what's going on. And just walking. I seen her. Yeah, the girl from my computer class. She was like, "What you doing out here?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just walking around. Same thing you doing. Like, ain't nothing else to do." So she was like, "Your friend around the corner." Like, "What friend? I don't have any friend." She was like, "You know, old girl." I'm like, "That's not my friend." She was like, "Oh, just being funny or whatever." Ain't nothing funny. So, we walk over there. She showed me where girl was. And I was like, "I kick her in her face." She was like, "No, you won't." I'm like, "Yes, I will." I walked over to that girl, kicked her. She's sitting on the floor like this, like outside the principal's office. Nobody out there, nothing going on. She just sitting out there like this. Walked up, kicked her in her head. She just put her head down, was just sitting like this. And I'm like, "That's what you get." And my friend, she started yelling like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you really did it." Like, y'all stop telling me to do stuff. You know, I don't care. So, kicked her in her head. Went back to class, sitting in the classroom. The girl, she went back to class too. So we sitting in the class on the computer. Next thing you know, the police come knocking on the door. Like, "Can they talk to me?" So I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I go out in the hallway. He was like, "Those some nice steel toe boots you got on there. Nice for kicking people." I'm like, "Yeah, they are nice, but..." So they was like, "Yeah, so where were you just at?" I'm like, "I don't know where I was just at. I was just in the classroom." So he said, "Well, I just got a report that you kicked somebody. Like, I don't know what you're talking about." So he takes me to the office, the one where that girl was sitting outside of. I go in there, and the police officer come in there, like the main principal was in there, and he said, "Yeah, I don't even want to hear what happened anymore. We gave you too many chances. We keep letting you back into school, and now at this point, you're just a threat to the kids, and we putting you out, and you can't come back here anymore. Yeah, you can't come back at all." So, and I'm like, "I'm about to graduate in a couple months. What you mean I can't come back? Like, I can't tell my mom that I can't graduate, like walk the stage." He was like, well, you should have thought about that, but I'm sorry, but we can't allow you to um, come back to this school no more. So, I looked over at the window. I'm like, if you don't let me, come back to school, I'll jump out this window and kill myself. And I ran over to the window, and the police officer came and grabbed me and put me in handcuffs. And, they was like, well, now since you said that, we got to take you somewhere else. Like, what are you talking about? They was like, you can't threaten yourself. And I'm like, I was just playing. They was like, no, well, now you really need help because you can't just say stuff like that and be playing. Like, I'm just playing. Like, they was like, well, we got to take you anyway to see. Take me down, put me in handcuffs, walk me out to school, put me in the police car. Yeah, drove me downtown, took me to this little crazy place on the side of a building, took me in there, put me in this room. He walked out to tell the people that worked there my problem, whatever his problem that he thought I had was. Took me, yeah, I'm sitting there. My hand is like handcuffed to the back like this. I'm double jointed, so I took my hands and I flipped it all the way to the front. So when he come back in the room where I was, I'm sitting like this. And he was like, how did you do that? Like, how did I do what? He's like, how did you move your hands back to the front? You know, I got to put them back to the back. I'm like, that's uncomfortable. I'm not sitting in here like this. He was like, well, you can't be sitting in here like this because your hand's supposed to be handcuffed to the back. So he handcuffed my hands back to the back. And he left back out the room to talk to the lady. And I put him back to the front again. Why would I sit like this when I can sit like this? I'm not being uncomfortable. So he come back again. And he was like, I told you don't do that. If you do that again, I'm going to have to handcuff you to this chair. Handcuff your hands and feet to this chair. Oh my gosh, okay, sir. So we was in there for a while. The lady come talking to me. And then, yeah, about why did I say that? And then next thing you know, they send me to the hospital, to the other crazy home at the top floor of the hospital. So I get in there. And I'm just like, man, ain't nobody trying to go through all of this. I'm walking in there. I snuck my cell phone in because I had it tucked down somewhere. So they put me in there, put me in a little room. I sat by this chair by the window. And I sat right there in that chair. And after the man left, locked me in the room, I'm sitting there on my phone trying to text dude and tell him what's going on with me. Like, I'm fucking in a crazy home. Somebody need to come rescue me. So I'm telling, and trying to hide the phone so when they wouldn't peek through the door and see me. It was going dead, so I didn't have much time left. He came back, the officer came back in there, and the lady who was gonna be my supervisor. So I'm like, I'm ready to go home. They're like, you're not going home. You have to stay here for supervision. So, the police officer left. The lady asking me, saying that she needed to call my mom to tell her what was going on. I'm like, don't call my mom. Don't tell nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to get out of here. She was like, well, if you participate, if you be all right, we can let you out of here. So, okay. She left out the room. A day passed. I'm still sitting in that chair. I mean, it's a bed, it's a shower, and everything in the room. But I sat in that chair where I got, the same chair I was in when I got there. I sat there in that chair until the next day because I'm just ready to go. Next day come. She was like, you still have to stay here for a couple more days. Like, dang, nobody know where I am or nothing. I basically had transported from the school from one place to another place. Now I'm here. Nobody know where I am. I told her, still don't call my mom. And, yeah. Then, After that, I'm sitting in that chair. 2 days done passed. I haven't did nothing. I didn't shower. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't do nothing. Because I'm just ready to leave. I told him I'm going to sit right here until I get out of here. So the next day, one of my aunts had worked there. I didn't know. She came in, was like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know, some crazy story. I didn't tell her what was going on. Who cares? So, yeah, she was in and out of my room. So after I sat there for 2 days, I'm looking like, I'm trying to plot how to get out of there, how I'm going to break out of there. I'm like, either when it's quiet time and everybody got to be in their room, I'm going to bust out running and run to the elevator and leave. That probably wouldn't have worked because I know they got a button to shut everything off probably. So that was one option. And then I kept staring out the window. It was a big tree outside the window. So it's either I'm going to open this window, I'm going to jump on this tree, and I'm going to run to my grandma's house, which is like 3 blocks down the street from where I am. So that was my next plan, to jump out the window onto that tree and run home. So I was in there for probably about 4 days now, probably. And waiting for the right time to break up out of there. My aunt come in the room, and I'm so pissed off. I'm just like, she asking me how I'm doing today. I said, trying to figure out a way to break out of here. I'm going to open this window, and I'm going to jump, and I'm going to run to my grandma. She was like, you can't do that. These windows got alarms on them. So then that let me know that the windows had alarms on them. She was like, you can't do that. And eventually she left out the room. Can't trust nobody. She went and told. So somebody came in the room and was like, we heard that you was trying to jump out the window. Like, here we go again. Like, ma'am, I'm just trying to get out of here. How many times I got to keep on telling you this? And they was like, well, if you participate and you get up in the morning and you eat and you move around a little bit, maybe we will let you out of here. But you just been sitting in that same spot since you got here, and you haven't moved, you haven't ate, you haven't did anything. We just gonna leave you right here until you start participating. You're not doing anything. So I'm like, so you telling me if I get up tomorrow and I participate, you'll consider letting me out of here? She was like, yeah, come to one of the meetings, come to some of the meetings, and then move around a little bit. Next morning, still sitting in that chair. I got up at like 6 or something like that to go eat breakfast. And went to eat breakfast, went back in the room, went to one of their stupid little classes. And then the lady was like, if you want to get out of here, we need to call your mom to talk to the judge to see if you can go. I'm like, do whatever you need to do. So the next day, a judge came, and my mom came. She was so happy to see me. And the judge was like, am I safe at home? All those stupid questions. And telling my mom why I was there and what information he had heard. And I told the judge, like, I want to get adopted. Like, I don't even want to go back to them no more. Send me somewhere else. He was like, well, that's a process. It takes a while. You can't just get adopted that easy. And why would you want to get adopted in the first place? I'm like, cuz I just don't want to be with them anymore. They don't even pay no attention to me. So, my mom, she was like, no, why would you say that? Like, you don't want to get adopted. What if that family, you don't know what kind of family you going to? Like, why would you say that? So, the judge was like, do you really want it? I'm like, just let me out of here. So, him and my mom talked, and they let me out. They drove me home. My grandma and my mom drove me home. And once we got there, yeah, once we got there, I walked in and I walked out, and I probably walked about 4 or 5 miles across town because I needed some air. I went over there 4 or 5 miles to the park to talk to my friend. Seemed like longer than that. Maybe it was like 6, 7 miles to talk to my friend, tell him what was going on with me. We sitting in the park talking. Eventually it started getting dark outside. So he was like, I gotta go home now. What you about to do? I'm like, I don't know. So he was like, all right. He had to go. So he went home, and I walked about 7 more miles to see that boy. So walked all the way to the other side of town to see him. He came outside, met me outside, and we was talking about everything, like, how did all of this even happen? Like, now how I'm gonna tell my mom that I can't go back to school and all of that. So, just all my fault. So, spent the night with him, and then the next day, I caught a cab back to my grandma's house, and I eventually told her that I couldn't go back to school. I mean, I had all my credits, so I just didn't know what was going on. And almost time to graduate, and what happened? I got a letter from the school that said that it was time for SOLs and exams and stuff. They told me that I could come up to the school when everybody was gone. They gave me permission to come up there when everybody was gone to take my exams and my SOL. So I went up there when everybody was gone, took all that, and then I got a letter from the principal that said I still can't come back to school, but he will let me walk the stage on the last day. Just show up on graduation day, and I can walk with the rest of the people. So that was good. Like, I mean, that's all my family wanted. I know they would have wanted me to be more nicer and be good in school, but it's over now. And that's what happened. All because of that boy. Every year, I put my hands on somebody. Yeah. Thanks for listening. I will come back with some more stories for y'all. And like and subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the notification bell so you can see when I have posted another video. And that's all I'm going to say. Bye.